Alright, we are live. Here we go. Been a while since I've done a live stream. I've been a busy boy. That's what kind of happens. But yeah, I hope folks are well. And let me just bring that down a little bit more. I think that's better. Okay, looks better. Yeah, so here we are, and I don't promote my streams. I do not promote my streams. So let's have a little bit of a copy that, and come over here, and let's go to something else. I don't know what we're going to go to. LinkedIn. Linky Dink. Let's go over to Linky Dink and chuck something in there. Why not? And I am going to just quickly move that over there. And let's just get any old file up. There we go. Get the old screenshot in. Fantastic. Nope. And I'm going to be building a learning management system. Sounds way more fancier than it is. Okay, shabam, let's do a bit of that. Let's copy the stream URL and comment. Come watch me, you lucky lamb. Shazam. Share. Okay. There's a little bit of promo there. Let's see what happens. Should we go over to my TikTok? Should we do something over on TikTok? I don't know. I think streaming on TikTok really doesn't do me any favors, but the people I know are actually streaming right now. Let's come over here. Oh yeah. Let's forget TikTok. Actually, forget it. I don't need no TikToks. I've just realised what the problem is, which is on TikTok I can't actually post to my stories or post an image, which is a bit bum, really, isn't it? It's a little bit bum. But we're just gonna forget it. We're just gonna forget it. We're just gonna forget it. Okay, cool. Where's my face is on it because I wasn't actually. Oh well. Do you know what? Let's just get on with it. Let's just close that. Let's just get on with it. So I am looking to build a learning management system. Now that sounds way more fancier than it actually is, but actually what I'm doing is building a place for my webinars, so people can come along, go into my app that I'm going to build, and they can access all my pro webinars. That's it. Bingo, bango, bongo. Happy days. So let's do some of that. Let's do some of that. I might actually go live on TikTok. Do you know? Let's go TikTok Live Studio. I'm going to get to the problem as well that TikTok is a different aspect ratio, and I'm going to just run out of screens basically. That's what's going to happen. I'm just going to hope for the best. I'm going to focus on the YouTube stream and hope for the best. You know. Okay, so there's my face. Fantastic. There's my face. And let's just sort of line this up a bit better. Sort of weirdly over to one side. That's okay though. That's okay. And then I'm going to bring this over here because all I need really is this over here, like so. And just whack go live. Why not? Building a learning management system. That's it. That's all you get. So we're just going to go with building an LMS app. Because I don't know. No. Building an app. Let's just call it that. Go live. Do it. Okay, right. We're going to be building an app. But we're not actually going to be building an app right away. That's the important part of it. What we're going to be doing is defining exactly what we're doing, right? Exactly what we're doing, you know. Relative. Exactly what we're doing. What we're going to be doing. So what I am going to spend some time with is actually just doing the document actually and just scoping out what I want to do. When people sort of go off and they build apps and they decide, you know what, I'm going to build an app and I'm going to do a thing, what they end up doing is not actually, I've got the doc in the way, get the doc out of the way, there we go. When people sort of sit and they say, right, I'm going to build an app, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, they can be susceptible to scope creep. And the reason that scope creep happens is because there has been no definition on what done looks like. And also no definition on the goal and the vision or anything. And part of actually saying, look, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write something out and define, like, this is what I'm going to build. This is the actual app of what it's going to look like. Unless you have that conceptualization, then you're not going to get anywhere. So what I'm going to do in this session is define what that looks like. Okay, so Shazam. I've just realised I do need to move this over a little bit. There we go. And we are at max zoom. Okay. And we're not going to call the file untitled because we don't like that. So let's kind of go with Chuffed. I'm going to call it Chuffed University for now because I don't really have a good name for it, to be honest. But we'll see how we get along. I keep looking over to the side because I am being distracted by my own face on screen. So I'm going to try and hide that away. Okay, Chuffed University. Now, you know, let's start off by adding some context. Right. And that context is let's do it from the perspective of Chuffed. Chuffed has paying clients who are mentored so they can go from software developer / engineer to founder by monetizing an app. Fantastic. To go along with that as well, we can also be in a place of saying, what else? This the mentorship program involves a weekly webinar for more I don't want to say more general concepts and principles and methodology outside of one-to-one coaching. Let's fix that. Thank you. And let's fix this as well. Let's have a comma in there. Let's have us another comma, an Oxford comma in here. Very important. The Oxford comma. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at the moment, right? What is needed? Right now, I am sharing the webinars, old and new, via email to my clients. Okay, so that's what's going on. On top of this, I want to explore other means of selling my services. And whilst the mentorship program is the pricier option, there might chuffed. I want to experiment with a low cost and low touch point offering. Right, I went from third person, even third person from the company name, and just sort of this. So I'm going to change that to I rather than chuffed, although, you know, it's because, you know, I would normally do third person from a point of view of working with a company because they require it to be third person, that sort of part of it. So where I'm going with this is I want to be able to define the app that I'm building, and it's all within this context of I have paid clients, they're giving me money today, and they have these weekly webinars. So how can I deliver these weekly webinars in a way that is a product, right? Productizing the service is where we're going with this. Okay, so let's have a little bit of Excel for a minute, just to really kind of go through it. Okay, sorry, I might have just flashbanged everybody with that one. Okay, cool. Right, there we go. So, really where I want to go with this is my clients. That's terrible. Let's go again. My clients. There we go. That's better. That's better. Are over here. They're having a great time. And then once a week there is a webinar, and that is on the YouTubes. You folks don't get to see that, by the way. It's all unlisted, so sorry. They are pro only, but these are on the YouTubes. And I will just send via email. Oh, by the way, this Sunday or whatever else, you know, time and date for them, and the subject of the next webinar. So if these folks will then want to go and watch the old ones, which they have told me they want to do, they have to go digging through their inbox in order to do that. So they're going to have to go through their inbox and find the email where, you know, it will be like, oh yeah, Dom did talk about that at that point. That's what that one is. So there needs to be a bit more organization. The other option as well is, you know, again, these are clients over here. Whoops. Clients over here. But here are people who are not clients. Okay. And the idea is that maybe I can get these people in without the one-to-one in order to do this. Sorry, I've just got a little bit off screen on TikTok there. So maybe I just want to get people sort of, you know, into the app over here without having to do this bit of it, the mentorship program, which is quite expensive. That's my thought. That is my thought. Let's export this to downloads. So let's put this as current structure, like so. Save. Thank you very much. Let's just get Finder up for a sec. Do a bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay, there we go. And we'll just stick that in there like that. Okay, so that's kind of where we are at the moment in terms of the whole thing. So let's kind of kick off first of all. Oh no, thank you. No, what happened there? What did I do? What happened? Oh, I had a... Okay, fourth time lucky, yeah? There we go. Okay, so that's the context of what I'm doing. And I... Yeah, now I need to figure out, okay, well, how am I going to... Let's sort of scope this. And this is an exercise in writing tickets, right? And even if you're a solo founder, solo dev, building your own product, doing that whole thing, writing tickets out is really important. You know, it helps keep your mind clear and on point. You don't drift. You don't scope creep. That's the point. So I'm going to come down here and normally what I'll go with next is purpose. All right, so why does this need to exist? I mean, the aim of this product is to have a professional level access to the webinars that I am currently putting on every week. So you know, a specialized learning resource for software developers and engineers to learn all the thing, to learn everything needed to build and monetize an app outside of writing the code. So that's kind of the purpose. This is the why behind everything, right? And this, you know, I know I'm sort of gone through quite quickly and done this, but I've just had a lot of practice, and getting to the why can be very difficult, can be very challenging, and you could end up in a place where you kind of mix yourself up a little bit, and you don't really define anything. That happens all the time. So that's kind of the purpose. That's, you know, next I'd like to go to the vision, and the vision for this is going to be you know, what this looks like. You know, let's not put that in. Let's not put that in. So the vision. do I want this to look like? Just thinking, you know, my vision for this. You know, is a truthful and non clickbaity video based platform to upgrade developers to founders. I'm going to go back and work on that. I'm not overly happy about that. I'm not stoked about that at all. We'll come back to it. Right, let's go to goals. Right. So first of all, I need my current clients to be able to log in, so they can watch the previous webinars. Okay, so something like that. I need to have an offering and therefore a landing page for people who are not my clients, and also to be in a place where I can have conversations at events for at events. That's fine, because I'll go out and I meet people and I'm just like, oh hey, how's it going? I tell them what I do and they're like, oh, that's really cool. That's it. And it'd be quite nice to say, look, if you're interested, send them a link and go, that's the thing. And if you want one-to-one coaching on top of that, then this is my mentorship program. Bingo, bongo, bongo. See how it goes. So I do want to get that. I want to ship something by the I was going to say by the end of next week. Let's just figure out what that is on a calendar. Let's go up to the end of the month. Yeah, let's go up to the end of the month. By 31st March 2026. And be able to send over to my clients. Okay, cool. I'll probably come back and do more goals, but let's kind of go through the problem statements. Let's go through the problem statements. Okay. Right. Problem statements. The thing with problem statements, right, and I think this is important for everybody to realise, is that problem statements are I'm realising my TikTok stream, my TikTok is, oh my goodness, it's not wide enough. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's good. We're good on TikTok. Nobody's watching on TikTok anyway, so who cares? Okay, so there we go. Okay, so problem statements. There's some important things to know about this. First of all, you want to write problem statements from the perspective of the user or the person experiencing the problem. You also don't want to hide the solution within the problem, and you want to be able to articulate in a way that is relative to what you're trying to achieve, relative to your goals, your vision, your purpose. So I always put that stuff up first because it kind of makes sense. So first of all, I'm gonna, as a mentee of Chuffed Coaching, I need to learn the fundamentals of building and monetizing an app. Building and monetizing an app with the webinars that Dom is doing every week. But going back to watch the older webinars is cumbersome, as everything is shared via email. Therefore, I have to ask Dom to send over again. Yeah, that'll be fine. As a person, we can go straight in with software developer. As a software developer who is looking to become a founder with a monetized app, I need to know everything outside of writing code that is required to successfully go to market. Successfully go to market. Oh my god, how many S's I put in successfully? What happened there? I don't know. My fingers got away from me. Right, I need to successfully go to market. But resources are very, very superficial and mainly focus on tactics, tricks, hacks, etc., rather than the actual, how I'm going to put this, rather than the actual, resources are very superficial and mainly focus on tactics, tricks, hacks, etc., rather than the actual understanding of product and go to market as a discipline. Discipline. This is because content on social media is built to be clickable and viral, and spectacle. Spectacle. Clickable and viral and spectacle over genuinely educating. Okay, that's good. Therefore, I feel that it's all a bit of a grift and nothing really. I feel, what do I hear? What I hear from people is people do feel like it's a bit of a grift, and people are just selling the idea of starting the founder journey rather than providing the means to. Okay, there we go. That's the second problem statement. I think that's pretty good. As a software developer who's looking to become a founder with a monetized app, I need to know everything outside of writing code that is required for a successful go-to-market. To successfully go to market, but resources are very superficial and mainly focused on tactics, tricks, and hacks, etc., rather than the actual understanding of the product and go-to-market as a discipline. Rather than the actual understanding of product and go-to-market as a discipline. This is because content on social media is built to be clickable and viral and spectacle over genuinely educating or genuine education. Therefore, I feel it's all a bit of a grift, and people are just selling the idea of starting a founder journey rather than providing the means to. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's definitely what I've been hearing from people when it comes to them trying to become founders. Hey, Code with Fred. I think I've come across. I think you've come up on my feed or something. I've seen you somewhere. I think. How's it going, Code with Fred? Would like to connect too. I don't have my phone near me. I don't know if we follow each other. I don't know if we're friends on TikTok. But yeah. Just a quick explanation of what's going on here. I'm just scoping out an app, basically. And it's for a whole 3 people to start off with. And I'm already this far in my scope. I haven't even described what it is yet. I'm just going through, done a couple of problem statements. But the problem statements look good. I'm sort of happy with that. As one, it's for my clients. So as a mentee of Chuff Coaching, I need to learn fundamentals. I need to learn the fundamentals of building and monetizing an app with webinars that Dom is doing every week. But going back to watching the older webinars is cumbersome as everything is shared via email. Therefore, I have to ask Dom to send it over again. Okay, fantastic. As a software developer is looking to become a founder with a monetized app, I need to know everything outside of writing code that is required to successfully go to market. But resources are very superficial and mainly focused on tactics, tricks, and hacks, etc., rather than the actual understanding of the product and go to market as a discipline. This is because content on social media is built to be clickable, viral, and spectacle over genuine education. Therefore, I feel it's all a bit of a grift, and people are just selling the idea of being starting on a founder journey rather than providing the means to. I have a third problem statement to add. You are working on a campus marketplace here in my country. What is your country? Where is your country? Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Oh, Nigeria. I meet so many Nigerian folks here. I meet so many Nigerian folks here in London. And yeah, they always show me really good places to go eat as well. It's like a superpower. I'm just like, yes. When they say, you want to come get some food? I'm like, yes. And you lead the way because you always take me somewhere amazing. So happy days. So you're working on a campus marketplace. Cool. What is, what problem are you solving? I'm sat here writing problem statements. So tell me, what problem are you solving? Okay, so I've got to go through the third one now. So as me, as Dom, coach and CEO of Chuff Coaching. Okay, that's my company. I need to meet people where they are when it comes to their journey to a founder, especially help students selling physical products to be able to sell online without stress. Okay, so sort of the e-commerce space, is that what you're saying? When it comes to their journey to founder, I need to meet people where they are when it comes to their journey, especially when I am at events. Yeah, okay. So okay, so e-commerce, that kind of space. Why are, who are these students selling to? Right? What kind of stuff are they selling? What does that look like in terms of a user? So I am a person, I'm a student. Where am I trying to get to? What am I trying to accomplish? So, especially I need to meet people where they are when it comes to their journey to a founder, especially when I'm at events. However, it is challenging to pitch a service at the full 1-to-1 offering because it is quite expensive, and my service is quite expensive. What can I say? Basically, books, sneakers, all kinds of products. Okay. That becomes, are you talking like new or secondhand products that you want these students to sell? Okay. So therefore, I don't feel comfortable with pushing the service as going in that cold doesn't yield good results. Yield good results. Okay, cool. Right, okay, that looks good. Those are my 3 problem statements. So 1 from my clients, 1 generically from people who are just going to come in, and 1 for me. I might add a couple more in here. Both new and half used. Okay, cool. I would actually focus on 1, because the thing. So when it comes to doing marketplaces, it's sort of tempting to be in a place of like, right, we'll sell everything, right? And it might be useful to actually say, do you know what? Let me just focus in on 1 thing, and then that way I might get better results, because you can then really target in on those very specific people. Let me sort of just diagram out a little bit just to sort of explain. Let's get the old Excel drawer out. Confirm, and let's move this over a little bit. Okay, fantastic. So kind of what happens is a bit of complication is that you have, and you're going to have 2 types of users, right? So you're going to have sellers and you're going to have buyers. Okay. And you're sort of saying the sellers are, I'm a little bit off there. Let me just line that up a bit better. There we go. So what you're saying is that the sellers over here, and this is your app here, the marketplace, right? So the sellers are going to be the students, and they're going to post whatever product. So you're going to have like this, and then you said, sneakers like so. You're going to have a product. You're going to have, you know, a price on there, whatever else, and then the buyers can come along and buy something, right? So when people first come along, the buyers mostly, they're going to be like, what is this place, right? That's the first thing they're going to ask, right? What is this? What do I do here? What do I buy here? You know, and that's quite an important question from buyers. And I've worked on 4 marketplaces previously, and the thing I always kind of got them to was just get really specific. Get really specific. It's also a lot easier for you to manage. So whatever people are buying, or maybe like what's hard for buyers to find in terms of their products, and what's the hardest for buyers to find, and what's the easiest for students to sell. Okay, and that's the direction I would go in, because then your platform becomes about that one thing, right? So it might be a case of like buyers find it really difficult to find, I don't know, say let's go, you put books, right? Okay, this isn't what it is. You're gonna have to go out and talk to people to figure this out, but it might be the case that people find it difficult to buy books. Okay, let's nope, let's start again with that. There we go. Okay, all right, yeah, there we go, there's a book. Shazam, there we go. Okay, that's a book. So people find it hard to buy books. Okay, well then make this a book marketplace. And then that's good. Now, are the buyers students as well? That's another question. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my thing. Have a little think over that. Okay, cool. Right. So now I've done my problem statements. I want to put a hypothesis in. There we go. I want to put a hypothesis in. You know, I know you're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that helps. And one golden rule: specificity sells. Right? That's really important. Is when you go out and you go to sell, specificity is really what helps people convert. So as I talk about, right, my whole thing is software developers and software engineers who are looking to become founders by monetizing their projects. That is a very specific set person in a very specific state. But that helps sell it, not only here on social media, and stick on stream, you know, chat some more. I'm always here, you know. So, you know, when it comes to sort of creating my content, it's sort of the same. Right? When I create my content, I sort of come out here and I say, right, okay, here's some ideas and here's things you can do and blah, 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 blah. But people get it, right? And people are like, okay, cool. I like the sound of that. Now, what's really important in that story is the story I tell on social media, the story I tell when I go out and talk to people, the story I tell when I need to sell something. It's all the same story. Right, and I think that's the thing people miss, is that they think sales and marketing and all these things are all different things, but really it's the same story. You just sort of tell it in different context. So that's why, as a person on myself, I'm able to sell my services, because I'm just like, yeah, I just tell the same story. That's all I do, and it's not that different to what I talk about on my TikTok. Like, it's all very similar stuff. Have you built anything yet? Like, have you actually gone out and built some code? Have you written some code? Have you built something? Have you launched anything? Where are you on the journey? Right, hypothesis. If I build a platform with initially with the webinars that I am creating already, then I will be able to not only deliver value to people who have already paid me, but also a whole new cohort that are currently priced out. There we go. Yes, I've built a couple of products for people. What, as in this? Have you built your e-commerce thing, or just other things? A portfolio site, e-commerce website, etc. Okay, cool. Even though it's not your platform, right? Even though it's not your platform, and even though it's not your technology, what you could do is start doing outreach in terms of like how you as a student can make some extra money using WooCommerce or Shopify, right? And just start creating that kind of stuff, and start seeing if people get interested, right? So if you haven't put so much into the code just yet and you don't quite have a product right now, that's fine, but do more to focus in on people and the problem first. Like really dig in. And what's going to get complicated is that you're going to have two cohorts of people, right? So you've got the buyers and the sellers. So you're going to have to constantly think of that, about these two people simultaneously. If you don't, you get into a bit of a pickle, which happens a lot. So be aware of that. It's hard enough building for one type of user. It's quite tough building for two types of users who do two very different things. One of the last marketplaces I worked on was actually for e-commerce people. I built it was actually for another company. It wasn't for myself. It was for another company, and they ended up getting acquired. Actually, I don't know who by, but I know they got acquired in the end. But essentially, it was a marketplace for people who had e-commerce stores and micro influencers to do like micro brand deals. So you could go in and basically say, "Oh, I've got this e-commerce thing, and I sell stuff online. I really want to kind of extend my outreach, so I'm just going to go find an influencer and a micro influencer at that. So followers of around about 1,000 to 5,000 people, and say, hey, I'm going to chuck you $50. Can you give me a shout out on your channel?" Right. So not like the big brand deals, just like little ones that you can just throw out here and there. If I give you 20 quid, can you just put me in your next reel? Right. Something along those lines. And they were struggling at first, like really struggling. Their acquisition and retention was just god awful. And when I talked to some of the people using the platform, they were just like, I just don't get it. Like that was the thing. They just didn't get it. They just didn't, they were bringing like this a really big kind of mixed bag. And I was like, right, okay, I think this isn't working. And what I ended up doing was focusing the product down and saying, well, the most popular category for e-commerce is fashion. And one of the most popular, in fact, the most popular category in e-commerce was fashion. And then one of the most popular means of being an influencer was in fashion and lifestyle. So, and beauty, that kind of area. So we just made it specifically about that. I said, just do fashion for now and work out everything else later. But once we got into it, it kind of just got to a point of fashion brands finding fashion voices. That was kind of the tagline we kept going with. Fashion brands finding fashion voices. And once we kind of got there, and we also did a whole go-to-market campaign with influencers using the platform itself, that even became easier for us. And then their acquisition went up. They started making more money and things started going really well. And then, another company bought them out. So specificity sells every single time. And it's easy to be tempted to do the opposite. That's the problem. It's really tempting to it's really tempting to do this thing of like, well, if I try and get a wider audience, then that's more people, and if there's more people, then there's more chance of me getting clients, right, and getting customers and getting paid users. But the opposite is true, right? Because as you become wider, your message becomes diluted, things become more generic, and then people don't even know if that product's for them, and numbers tail off. And I see that happen all the time. So yeah, specificity sells. Right, I've written my hypothesis. Exciting times. So let's go back to the old Excel if this is useful for you, Code with Fred, then screenshot it, because I am about to erase it. Okay, all right. I'm going. I'm resetting the canvas. I'm resetting it. Okay, cool. So, yeah. So what I need is first of all, I mean, at the end of my user flow. Just squeeze that one in. Right, so the end of my user flow is going to be watching a webinar, right? So that's my end. I need to get there as quickly as possible. And then we have sign up here and log in here. And I need to get somebody that I don't know whether I want to do something like, you know, go in or whatever. Oh, my audio stopped. Play. There we go. So what do I want? Because people can sign up and log in and then immediately get pushed to a video. And this could be the latest video, right? Do I want to do that? I think that's a good place to get started. The latest webinar. Okay, so you sign in, you go straight to the latest webinar, blah, 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 like so. Now, there is some element of like connected webinars. So I, for example, have Product Manager 01 and I have another webinar, which is Product Manager 02, which go like this. So I do need sign-offs. I don't know if I want to do it as a playlist just yet. I don't know whether that's necessary. To a certain extent, I don't think I really want to, because it might be a case that I might have something completely different here, where, for example, I did go to market and I thought actually go to market and PM01 do actually both lead into this. So I think maybe having an idea of if somebody starts off in the user flow of watching a video and watching a webinar, that you could either go to the previous and, you know, this would be, you know, if this is Product Manager 2, this would be Product Manager 1, but then there could be another list of, you know, go to market or something else. But then some idea of next. Right? And that would then be like PM03, for example, and then like stuff like this. Maybe something like that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of user flow. I am sold on this, like just get people in. Whoopsie daisy. I'm kind of sold on this, like just get people into the latest video. Do you know what? I'm switching over to drum and bass. Yeah. I don't know, the lo-fi started annoying me from it there, so we're jumping over to drum and bass now. Okay, so I like this as a flow, you know, and the thing I want people to notice, right, is that I'm not going from, okay, I'm going to build this thing. The first thing I'm going to do is look at how other people have done it. And I think that's just a massive trap, because what it does, it just locks your brain into this one way of thinking of like, this is how everybody else does it. And instead I sort of sit there and say, right, okay, let me just sort of sketch out what user flows are. I want people to get to, right, okay, watching the latest webinar, brilliant. They're going to come from login, they're going to come from sign up. Okay, cool, that makes sense as one user flow. Next, how do I then use these other user flows? And I just map it out this way. It's like, don't just jump into looking how everybody else has done it, because then your product's going to look like everybody else's product. And if that has an inherent error, you're going to bake it into what you're doing. Think about user flows first. Clip that. Right, anyway. So that's my sort of kind of couple of user flows there. And I guess I kind of need... You know, generally it's just going to be watching it. You know, right now it's just going to be an embedded YouTube video. But yeah, I think kind of watching gives you this kind of two places. And I think that's pretty basic. I think that's kind of a good starting point, really. I do need a sign up flow. I do need a login flow. I also need an idea of a role, right? Because the users... So if you're a user, there are people who are my clients today who get access to this stuff anyway. So they're going to have to full access to the app, but they're not going to do any payment stuff because they've already paid me. But then there's going to be a whole bunch of people who are going to pay a subscription to get into the platform. And then that's the other stuff, right? That's the other things that go on in here. So there's sort of two users, and there's going to be, I guess this is going to be my mentor or my mentee users, and the other one's going to be just subscribers. I can just put them in as students, I think, like so. So I think that's what I'm going for on that one. And those are two types of users. So I do need a user flow for sign up, and I'm just going to do it in Stripe. Like I'm not gonna over egg the pudding. I'm just going to get Stripe to do it. Hey Stripe, you deal with it, please. Thank you very much. And I've done everything in there. So that's going to be the mentor and the students. Okay, cool. So I've got logging in, and where you land is watching a video, right? Immediately you're on a watch video page. That is going to be the latest video. When it comes to so you're watching a video, it will tell you what other videos there are to watch, what other webinars there are in the platform to watch, and how they connect back to this one. So some of them are going to be previous ones. So if you're watching, you know, Marketing 03, then it's going to say Marketing 04 here. No, sorry, Marketing 02 as a previous one, and Marketing 04 as a latter one. But there is going to be some form of like structure between these, because what I don't want to do is just dump a bunch of product management webinars on you and go, hang on a minute, he's been talking a bunch about go-to-market. How does that relate to this? It kind of all kind of intermingles with each other. And what that looks like in terms of webinars is something along this line, where you might have like the PM route, you've got the go-to-market, and you've got the marketing, like so. And as you move through, it's a case of, it's not just three paths that you take. It's going to be a case of, okay, so you do those ones first, but then this one sort of also has to kind of come in here first, and then you get to sort of number 2, but then this one comes in here before you can get to number 4. It sort of does this weird thing of how all these things mix together. So I do need to capture that within the product, so when people come in, they understand, oh, okay, this is where I go from here. This is how I build out this whole thing. So this is kind of the user flow I want to go through. And I think these, if I always have a video, like every point in the app, you are on a webinar to watch, right? Don't worry about dashboards. Don't worry about all the other nonsense, right? You're always in a webinar to watch. And then below it is where you go from there. Those are my user flows. And these are two clear things. So I'm going to sort of just export this and go to user flows, save. And then we can come back here, and I'm going to just put in user flows like so, and bring this in here. Okay, perfect. There we go. So I've done it again. There we go. Okay, so flow 1 is from open, sign up, and log in to a page with a webinar. Okay, so that's flow 1. With the latest webinar. And then 2, from the webinar page to related webinars that are either previous or next. In context to the current webinar on page. Okay, 2 user flows. That's all I'm going with. 2 user flows. I'm not going any more complicated than that. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't think it's much more complicated than that. And that really just gives me like one screen, basically. There's one screen of just... Yeah, that just gives me one screen of just a video page, one screen of a webinar page. That's it. It has the video embedded on top, and then it has all the other videos below it. So we can kind of sketch it out, like do some wireframes. Let's reset the canvas like so. So we can kind of look at it in terms of like, there's a page here with, and do you know, I'm almost tempted to sort of like say full screen this. And then this is sort of the seek bar like so, you know, and then I'll be sat in the middle like so, chatting away with some slides as I normally do. And that's it, a very basic YouTube embed. I have the title over here. And do you know what? I'd probably, yeah, have some sort of button to go to the source. So you can bump out into YouTube if you want. Right, if you click it, you can just go to YouTube and just get it from there. That's absolutely fine. I don't know if it might be the case that you know, there might be some other functionality here. I'm not going to commit into it though. Now I want previous and next, and it won't be enough space. I mean, there might be enough space. So I might do next. Put next here. And I could just have that and a title. And then have a section that says whoops. That says previous. And then that has this. And there can be multiple videos in here. Like there might be another one down here as well. Like so. And that's got stuff down here. And then that's it. That's the whole thing. I think that works quite nicely. And then usual login bollocks, right? And I'm just going to do Google login. I'm not going to bother with email password. Just say, look, you log in with your Google account. And then I would say if you turn the device sideways, it would full screen. It would full screen if you turn the device sideways. I think that's great. I think that works nicely. I'd probably want to put the date in here. I don't know. Do I want to put the... yeah. That's the other thing, actually. Which is... some of these are going to be redone. Right. Because I might make it... there's a couple of them where I fucked up and I'm just like, I have to go back and fix that. So I might have some version control in here. Right, so if I do Product Manager 01, I go and do it, and I think actually I could have done that better, and maybe later on down the line I get a better mic, I get a better camera, I do all the rest of it. Then I can say actually I'm just going to do the whole thing again, and then just upload it and just say right, that's the new version now. But also there's going to be stuff that's just going to change, you know, as more and more technology comes out to do vibe coding and other means of sort of creating software. Then this stuff is going to be updated, so. That's why I'm going to go with it. Yeah. And I am going to want to track what's watched, I think. So I'm going to have the title. I'm going to have some... I'm going to have two things. I'm going to need to have buttons and like indicators. Basically. So buttons and indicators. Yeah, it's gonna be something along that, and then below it I just have next and previous, and then maybe a divider, and then just a bunch of other stuff. All the just a list of videos, just a list of other ones that are in there. Because what I can then do is, whilst I'm going to start off with all the pro stuff, what I can do is start putting in the non-pro stuff. I'd probably want some flag as well to say that this is pro. You know, maybe a star to say this is pro or something. I don't know. So that way I can kind of just stick stuff in there. I can even put my other TikToks in there. Because that'd be quite good. Because if I'm like, because I do a lot of short form content, and it's just like, actually, if I turn around and go, right, if you want to get more DLs, come here and sign up, and then there's a webinar on this. It's called this. Job done. And when I bring people in, I always bring them to the latest video. If they're not a pro subscriber, then they have to go somewhere else. If they are, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. So I'm just going to create a new section in my ticket called moving forward. And this is something I do a lot when I'm scoping, is that I always put a section at the bottom that says moving forward, because as you're working on it, you come up with ideas, but you don't want to kind of get beyond what you can actually build. Remember, there is a goal in here, which is quite clearly, where are we? Goals. Oh, here we are, goals. I want to ship something by 31st of March, right? That's my goal. Now, if I do something that's too much, then it's not going to happen, right? And so I want to put stuff in moving forward. So the first thing I'm going to put in there is free tier as a way of getting people in from TikTok, YouTube, other short, even LinkedIn, to be honest, LinkedIn, etc. So this is just sort of way of saying, look, here's some more detailed stuff. And what would be good is I can collaborate with people, right? If I'm sitting there and say, right, I want to put a really good go-to-market piece in there, I'm going to get somebody else to do it and say, look, can you come in and do me a talk on, a 20-minute presentation on go-to-market for these people? And I can offer out my services for free. So I can go and find people who are like, right, I need to find a designer who's trying to build an app. Hey, I'll give you, an afternoon's worth of coaching for free for me to do this. All I want in return is that you do me a presentation on, basic design principles for software developers who are looking to become founders. And then it will slowly build out over time. So other creators, put that in there. Also, I would say that kind of comes under the first one, right? So on this one, it doing the free tier requires non-pro videos, publicly available, publicly available. Okay, we'll just do that. I don't know if you can embed a TikTok. I'm sure you can embed a YouTube short though. Okay, cool, fine. We have two very simple things, right? So I'm gonna go user stories. As a client of Chuffed, I need to log in and not pay because they've paid already. So I can access the older webinars and focus the consumption of content online solely on the goals on my personal and professional goals. Okay, that's the first user story. As someone who is not a client of Chuffed, but is a software developer / engineer. As someone who's not a client of Chuffed, but is a software developer engineer looking to become a founder, I need to pay for access to product and go to market, access to educational materials by product and go to market experts to fill in the gaps for the stuff that is not coding. That is not coding. Okay, cool. Right, that looks good. I think that's good for a couple of user stories. It's also really important that I want to point out is like if I'm writing these user stories and you can kind of see that I'm not very often I see people do user stories and they're just an explanation of what the app is, and that's not what a user story is for. A user story is able to communicate to anybody the intent behind what is it that you're building. Ultimately, what is the why from the perspective of the user. So if someone's not a client, I need to get on my journey of becoming a founder, and I just need to go and pay for access to some material that, you know, some educational material by experts so that I can fill in the gaps. That's essentially it, and that's the pitch I'm going to go for. So I think that's fine. So let's go over to the acceptance criteria, and this ticket is nearly done. I'm at about 642 words. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. So acceptance criteria. So I'm going to start off with if I am a current client of Chuffed, then I should be able to log in and start watching webinars. If I am I can just do an else here. Else I need to be presented with okay, so this has to come in from the login screen. So if it's a login screen and it's a case of see, this is why you write the acceptance criteria. It suddenly makes these things so obvious to you because this has to happen to the login screen. So what I'm going to do is basically sort of tab this out a little bit like this and then say, given I am when I am on the login slash so I do have to pre-approve. I do have to pre-approve on this one. That's fine. Login. So this is specifically for the login page. If I'm a current Chuffed, then I should be able to log in and start watching webinars. And be redirected to the latest webinar. Else, I need to be presented with that's wrong. If I am a paying user only and not, if I'm paying user only and not a Chuffed client, and then the same thing would happen. So this would be or. So get rid of that and put that there. And then I'm going to come here, say else. Error message to inform there is no active account. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's absolutely fine. It's getting late. I'm hitting a wall. I'm hitting a wall. Right, okay. And prompted to create a new account. So when I am on the sign up page, then I can sign in via Google. Do I want to do username and password? It ends up being a right faff with that. I think I'm just going to go Google, Apple, GitHub. When sign up is complete, then people are taken to the Stripe subscription page. Using the email they signed up with. Once payment is made, then what am I doing? I'm just suddenly going to third person there. Then I am taken to the Stripe. When the sign up is complete, then I'm taken to the Stripe subscription page using the email they signed up with, the email of the account I signed up with. Once payment is made and subscription is once payment is made and subscription is active. Active. I need to keep track of states. 1, 2, 3 states. So I'm going to have user logged in, user, active account. What else do I want? Active account. I'm going to want previous list. Next list. Okay. Then I am taken to the latest webinar. And I might change the wording and not have webinar and actually have class. Okay, cool. Right. When I am on the webinar page, then below I can click to go out to the YouTube, to the direct YouTube video in app. I can see if I have watched the video before, and what else did I say? I haven't put it in here. I haven't put it in here. Okay, so I'm just going to put in wireframes. Let's get flashbang. There we go. Let's export that. And just put wireframes in like that. Stick that in there. Okay, so okay, I can see I have to watch the video before. I can see the version number of the webinar. I do feel like I want to change the vernacular to class rather than webinar. Okay, cool. Right. Then I can see the title of the webinar. Also I can see, I can below I can also get rid of that, click to go out to the, there we go, perfect. Underneath I can see previous webinars related to the current one, and underneath I can see the next webinars related to the current one. I can see whatever other webinars. I know some logout flow. Logout. When I don't really want a top bar. That's the thing. When I click my account, then I can log out from that screen. So I don't know where my account is going to go. I kind of don't like the idea of... I really don't like the idea of having the top bar. It would be quite clean to just have... How does YouTube do it? I don't have my phone near me. Just wonder how YouTube does it. You have to go back to the main page. I don't really want to feed. That's gonna take some thought. I think that's mostly my acceptance criteria done. And that really just gives me sign up screen, login screen, then the webinar page, which is gonna, I think I'm gonna change the class, to be honest. Oh man, I'm hitting a wall. I've been going for an hour and a half. I think I should call it. I mean, it is nearly 11 o'clock. That's late enough. But this is kind of done in terms of a ticket. I might tinker with it. It's probably got to be some, I'm nearly at 1,000 words. And I do hope that this gives a little bit of scope and like how much you have to. I hope that this gives a little bit of realization into how detailed you get into the scope. This is a very simple implementation, and even with that, I've written nearly 1,000 words, and I'm going to have to add probably another 1,000 words to this. And that's to have a very simple app that has one page that can show a class that somebody can watch it with links to other classes and a login and sign up page. That's it. And I've gone through that much detail, and I will go through more detail. But without having that specificity, you're going to end up in a place where you can get to scope creep, and you can find yourself not quite understanding how to put, you decide part of the user flow in the process of building the thing itself rather than beforehand. And that's where you have oddities in particular user flows, right? You see sometimes you go, why is that button there? It's because somebody put it there in the middle of building it. That's why. Somebody suddenly realized, I need that thing. So I'm going to continue with this and do some designs at some point, but I'll probably do designs tomorrow. Come join me on stream, and yeah, from there it's sort of moving along. All right, catch you in a bit. Bye.